All right, so I know you're probably sitting there wondering, Jay, something is a little different about you, but I can't really put my finger on what it is. Yes, you're right. I no longer have locks. I combed out my locks, and I'm no longer blonde, sadly, even though I did enjoy being blonde for a little bit. Um, yeah, I decided to comb my locks out because I've had too many failed attempts, failed dye job attempts, and before I lost all my hair, I'm just like, you know what? Let me salvage what is remaining on my head and just comb out these locks and just start a new journey. And honestly, I have no regrets. So life's been kind of okay. So let's be honest here. I'm not gonna BS you, okay? Because we're legends. We don't tolerate BSing. I Life has been kind of dreary. Life has been hot. Allergies have been very aggressive and belligerent in these streets. And life also has been punching me, feeding me them challenges, baby. They have just been. I have been full of so much challenge. Life has told me this, girl. Sit down, relax, reflect, and ponder on the process right now. You're moving too fast. And sometimes when you're in grind mode, the way I am, you feel like the brakes have broken off the the train and you're just going downhill fast. But you can actually take a pause and check in with yourself, because you have to remember what you're doing this for. You're not chasing a check. Legends don't just chase a check. Legends are pursuing something bigger and deeper than just financial gains. So keep that in mind, legend, on your journey. Don't forget what you're doing this for. Don't forget why you chose this path. And remember that you are the most important part of this journey. So don't neglect yourself. And it's okay. Like I've been having to tell myself, it is okay. It's okay. It's okay. You're not doing anything wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. You are doing great, legend. Like, patience is a superpower. Discipline is also a superpower. And rest is an even greater power. Rest. All right, so today's topic is books. Yay! Yes, this video is a book talk video where we will obviously be talking about books. And not just any type of books. I'm talking about the books that I have been studying, that I have been really just like soaking into, because these books are what I've been using to inspire and influence my personal science fiction novel. So it's going to be 3 books that I'll be talking about. And if you have any questions, please wait until the end of the video before you start asking questions. Okay? All right, let's get into it. So if you're wondering who this frightening looking white man is, it's George Orwell, the author of 1984 and Animal Farm, 2 of the most legendary English novels. It is a science fiction novel written, I think, in the 50s originally, but the story itself sadly still relates to the world of 2023. Man. And George Orwell is a legend because he knows, he's very intentional with how he writes and the words he uses. I would say he's a very smart writer, meaning he can be a little wordy. He uses a lot of language and vocab that I definitely had to, take a pause, look it up, like what does word mean, and look that up, and so I could understand the story better. And I love that from a writer, because like you're challenging me to keep up with you, and I have no qualms about that at all. I love words. I love, finding out what words mean and using them in my own way. So I definitely have a whole bunch of like words and sentences and phrases highlighted, circled. I have notes on the corners of pages. I have dog ears. Like this book I have studied. Okay. And George really has a way of writing where he can capture and establish a point of view related to the social and political issues of, the world he's created. And I've definitely used that method to establish the world in my own story, because it does touch on political and social issues as well. And to really like get a good grasp of those type of topics, and make the dialogue feel more real and relevant, I had to pull from legendary sources like George Orwell. Like, why not? So I definitely recommend this book. It's full of inspiration, and if you're a writer or someone that's interested in the topics of politics or socialism, and how you can rule over people, definitely check this book out. All right, on to our next book, which is Malcolm X's autobiography as told by Alex Haley. So this book right here is about another legend. And if you don't know Malcolm X, I definitely recommend you read his autobiography, because it's phenomenal. So the book itself, I feel, has changed my life. It changed my life. It made me smarter, and also even more radical than I already was when it came to political views. And I have also used this biography to influence certain characters in my story, and storylines, as well as the vocab and the language that I'm using for the story as well. It is just a lot of deep diving that I had to do. Deep diving on both these books to really create the political and social system in my story. 2 books, 2 legends. It's the only way. I'll tell you something. Alex Haley popped off in this autobiography. Alex really captured the essence of Brother Malcolm. He really takes you on the journey of his life from when he was a youth all the way up to him becoming Satan, and also throughout, when he left jail and became the legend that we all remember him as, Malcolm X. And I really loved how the story is told. It makes you understand why he was the way he was and what made him what he was. He eventually was saved by Islam, and he really is passionate and goes deep into how Allah saved him from, himself pretty much. And jail saved him too, because if it wasn't for jail, he probably wouldn't have become the eloquent public speaker that we know him as. So I definitely recommend checking out Malcolm X's autobiography. I'm not going to go into everything because I don't want to spoil nothing for you, because I know you're going to read it. Okay. And it's something that you don't have to read all at once. I definitely took my time reading this. I'm not even fully finished yet. I'm still on the last 2 chapters, it seems like. I live with this book too. I have it marked up, dog-eared, highlighted, circled, all that good stuff, because I have been studying and I have been trying to learn exactly what he's talking about, because he touches on a lot of history that they don't teach you in school. He touches on vocabulary that they probably don't teach you in school, and how the point of view from Black Americans that practice Islam versus everybody else that practices Islam is very different. And he just talks about all those um, religious, social, and political issues in a very eloquent and smart way, because he was a smart man. Like, he taught himself all this stuff. He taught himself. And that's what legends do. Sometimes a legend just got to do it for themselves, because nobody else is going to teach you. Nobody else is going to encourage you. You have to do it. I definitely use Malcolm X's character to influence certain traits in certain characters that I have going in my book. The autobiography also influenced storylines, vocabulary that I've used, and like how to really deep dive into someone's history and to really connect with them, because creating a connection to a fictional character is like, it sounds crazy, but it is possible because people have done it, trillions of times. But for me, this is like the first time I'm actually really putting in all of my heart, blood, sweat, and tears into getting this story finished and published. So learning from legends like Malcolm and George, I gotta do it. And the next book I'll be talking about is the Quran. Ooh. So funny thing is, I am not a Muslim. I'm not a Muslim, never really considered Islam or, followed that path. Religion in itself is something that I have my own opinions about, and I do not align with any of them. But Malcolm talked a lot about Islam. Islam is one of the oldest established religions in human history. Okay? And it was first spoken before it was written. And the story itself is originally in Arabic, which is such a beautiful language that I sadly have no idea how to speak or read outside of like Habibi. So shout out to all my Habibis out there watching this video. Please tell me something Arabic in the comments below. This was actually gifted to me from a lovely neighbor of mine. She is a Muslim woman, and she of course is very passionate about Islam. And I was telling her that, I've been reading Malcolm X, and she's like, "Oh, I know Malcolm X." And we started talking about Malcolm X. I'm so grateful for these connections that I formed through books. You don't know, like, books are more than just paper, okay, and letters. They are bridges. Books can be bridges, you guys. So the Quran, why did I choose the Quran as one of my inspo books? Because my story not only talks about political and social constructs, it also discusses religion and spirituality, and how that can affect people's perspective and actions and behaviors. So I definitely leaned into Islam and Christianity, which I'm more familiar with than Islam. But reading the Quran, I actually started from the back with the rapture, because the rapture is one of those parts of parts of the Bible that really I want to say is a little juicy. It's like a juicy part of the Bible for me. So I was curious to know what the Islam version of the rapture looks like. And let me tell you, it's not as violent. It's not as violent or bloody, but it's still kind of like, since there's a line here that goes, "The disbelievers will cry, 'I wish I were dust.'" I don't know. I wouldn't say that I'm being called or drawn to anything, but I am very much interested in learning more about, how the story is written. And also what I like about the Quran is that it's simple. It's easier to read and understand than the Bible. The Bible, I would say, has a lot more imagery. If you know more about the Quran and want to talk about it, share your thoughts, leave a comment below. Let me know your perspective. All right, so that's it for this video. Tell me what you think about all the books that I mentioned. Leave your thoughts in those comments below. Also, don't forget to like this video, hit a thumbs up, subscribe, share, spread the word, tell everybody J.Ellison is on YouTube. So if you want to continue to be part of my journey, definitely stay tuned for the next video. Until then, thanks for stopping by. Okay, bye. I am in such dire need for a tripod right now. It's not even a joke. It's not even funny. If any of you legends feel so moved to donate to the J.Ellison Fund, I will be so immensely grateful, because this setup I have right here, a struggle. Hold on, let's start over. My baby bun. You are great, sweetie.